I've been asking you guys to help me out with my top 10s, and boy, have you guys given me some amazing ideas. And we're going to jump right into one of them right now. Best horror double features. Here we go. What's up, guys? We are going to have some fun here. Thanks to Christine Brown on Twitter. She actually posted on my Twitter page, I have an idea for a top 10. Best horror double features. And I immediately jumped at the idea. That sounds like such a fun thing to talk about. So we're going to do that. I already got my list put together. I'm going to give you some honorable mentions as well. And to set the ground rules on this, you will not see any sequels. That doesn't count, okay? I could say Halloween 1 and 2. That's an easy one. But I'd rather think outside the box and give you two movies that are from completely different franchises. Or they might not even have a franchise. It could just be a standalone horror movie, but they go well with another horror movie. Also, I know that after I'm done with this, you're gonna be like, hold up. I got this, and this. You know, there's so many possibilities for double features out there. I'm not gonna hit every one of them. And my goal here is just to think outside the box and maybe throw some ideas at you that you didn't possibly think of. So anyway, let's get right down to it, all right? And I have 14 here on my list. I'm looking at my list right now, but you know what? That's not good enough. I need to give you guys a solid 15, okay? 5 honorable mentions, all right? And I'm literally looking at one right now, one of my VHSs. Let me grab it real quick. This was sent to me by James Kipling, okay? Return of the Living Dead, Part 3. One of my all-time favorite zombie movies. And it just came to my mind. What's another movie that's very like this? Warm Bodies. So there's an idea for a double feature. Watch Warm Bodies first, because they're both about romance zombie movies. You know, you got a couple, they love each other, one of them's a zombie. So watch Warm Bodies first, so you can see how it should be done when you watch this one second, because Warm Bodies pales in comparison, but they do make a good double feature. I will give it that. And some of you guys like Warm Bodies out there, so that's cool. But God, I love this movie. Next honorable mention, I'm gonna go with Suspiria and Phenomena. So you got your Dario Argento double feature, and I didn't want to go with the Dario Argento slasher giallos, you know, like Tenebrae and Deep Red, which would be great. But I thought, how about ones that aren't quite that? They're just Italian horror, okay? So Phenomena, which some might say is kind of a slasher, but there's more of a supernatural element to it. Same thing goes with Suspiria, with the crazy witch shit going on. And, you know, they're both beautifully crafted films by Dario Argento, one of my all-time favorite directors. So I think that'd make a great double feature, actually. Third honorable mention is going to be, and this was a tough one, Haunt and the Funhouse Massacre. For me, those two are the best of the carnival horror movies out there. And there's some really fun carnival movies out there. I almost put Bloodfest on here, but I think Haunt beats it out just by a hair. And nothing beats the Funhouse Massacre in my book, Tobe Hooper's Funhouse. Some people call it Funhouse Massacre, some people call it Funhouse. I could be wrong on one of those, I don't know. But the reason both these are great, aside from me preferring both of them, is because they're unpredictable. Haunt has more of like an independent feel to it. It's very small scale, very low budget, but they definitely don't hold back in the blood, guts, and gore. And I love the killers in this movie, the villains, especially the devil played by Damien Maffei. I think the devil is awesome in this movie. And then of course Funhouse Massacre with that crazy disfigured creature looking dude with the crazy scream. And as far as like characters that really give it their all, look no further than the Funhouse Massacre. Okay, 2 more honorable mentions, A Quiet Place and The Ritual. A lot of you are thinking of A Quiet Place because it's a very popular movie, but some of you might have skipped over The Ritual that was on Netflix, I believe around the same year actually. But both of those movies have creatures in like a forestry type terrain, and the creatures, especially in The Ritual, are very effective. They're effective in A Quiet Place too, but I think you get your yin and your yang with this as a double feature because A Quiet Place has really great characters in it that you can focus on. The creatures are cool, but I really love the character moments in A Quiet Place. And then if you want some really whacked out creature moments, you go for The Ritual. Ritual has good characters too. They're both really great movies actually. And then last honorable mention, this is kind of a fun one, Blade and Underworld. I think these two movies, they just kind of go together very well, actually. And I think Blade is more the masculine type of vampire film, whereas Underworld is more, I'd say, like the feminine type. You know, and I love Underworld, don't get me wrong, especially the first one. But I can see the differences. And also you could say the red and blue. Red is for Blade, blue is for Underworld. So I'm thinking outside the box here, guys. Okay, what do you want?
Fuck you! I'm trying to help you, motherfucker!
Okay, top 10. I really saved my top 10 for ones that I think are real zingers, okay? Number 10 is going to be Doomsday and Escape from New York. Doomsday is pretty much a love letter to Escape from New York. It has a very Carpenter-esque vibe to it, all the way down to the score. I mean, it's a love letter to Carpenter, really, if you think about it. But they have similar plot lines, too, where you have this wall that's around this big city that's keeping, in Doomsday's case, a virus in. In New York, it's keeping the criminals in. They both also have, like, anti-heroes. Rona Mitra playing the anti-hero in Doomsday, and, of course, the great Kurt Russell playing Snake Plissken in Escape from New York. But to me, those two, it's an irresistible double feature, actually. Number 9, and I had to change my answer at the last second on this one, too. It's Sleepaway Camp and Just Before Dawn. Originally, I put Friday the 13th in Sleepaway Camp, but I think Just Before Dawn fits better with Sleepaway Camp because of their endings. They both have kind of shocking endings. Of course, Sleepaway Camp has the more shocking. I mean, that's one of the most shocking endings in horror history. But I really dig the ending of Just Before Dawn. It is pretty whacked out, and it has a kill that is unlike any other kill I've ever seen. It's insane looking. So they both have shocking imagery at the end, and they're both, of course, camp slashers. They have some great camp slashing kills in there. They both don't feel like your typical, I guess, I don't want to say upper crust, but just your typical Hollywood camp slashers. You know, these feel a little bit more indie, and they work very well together. To me, independent is very unpredictable, and you know, to me, that's a great thing. Number 8 is a pretty obvious one, actually. Happy Birthday to Me and Madhouse. They both have almost the exact same ending. It's almost like, let's give you an ending, and you can have two different ways to film it, because that's what it looks like. Madhouse has the more like bright, colorful ending, whereas Happy Birthday to Me, it's just a different tone. It's darker, and they're going for a different vibe. It's more whacked out and like psychedelic in Madhouse. But they're both great birthday slashers, and there's a lot of differences between the two as well, so you won't feel like you're watching the same movie twice. You know, character-wise, very different actually. I prefer Happy Birthday to Me, but Madhouse is definitely a fun time, and definitely one that you won't forget. And they're both birthday slashers. Number 7, here's one you probably didn't think about. Poltergeist and The Evil. A lot of you guys have probably never seen The Evil, so let me direct you to my review for The Evil. That'll give you the full rundown without spoiling the movie. But The Evil feels like Poltergeist. They're both ghost stories with kind of a spooky looking house, even though Poltergeist is more on the suburban side of things. But they both just have a similar feel to them, you know? A lot of unexpected ghostly type happenings occur in these movies. And of course, with that, you're gonna get a lot of surprises, shocking surprises. And both the movies are pretty damn scary, actually. But one of my like early patrons a couple years ago, Ted Harrington, he's the one that actually recommended The Evil. He actually sent me the DVD, and I watched the movie and I fell in love with it. So can't recommend The Evil enough, and you've all probably seen Poltergeist. Number 6, this would be a really fun one actually. Demons and Night of the Demons. Both of them, of course, involve demons. I think they're both equally creepy and effective. The makeup effects in both these movies, pretty crazy. I would give the edge to just Demons as far as being terrifying. You know, Demons takes place in a movie theater, whereas Night of the Demons takes place in just this like haunted house. Both of them have a very different flavor to them, but they're both still very fun. They both have great rock soundtracks. But you're definitely going to feel that like Italian horror edge in Demons, of course. And some of the creepiest demon imagery that I've ever witnessed. But Night of the Demons, of course, you have Amelia Kincaid and Linnea Quigley, and those two are really the showstoppers in there. Number 5, I think this is a really fun one. The Descent and The Thing. And let me tell you why, because they're different stories, but both of them have all gender cast. The Descent, of course, has all women. The Thing has all men. And they're both in kind of like paranoid types of settings, very fearful types of settings. And if you want great acting and great, like insane, terrifying moments, both movies have them. I think The Descent is more on the bloody side of things and gets really, really chaotic. And I think The Thing is more about tension up to a point, but then when like the lid pops off of the pot, then it goes freaking haywire. We all have seen the blood test scene, so you know what I'm talking about. But both of them also have like strong leading characters with Sarah in The Descent and McCready in The Thing. So I think both these movies go together very well, actually. Number 4, Hereditary and The Witch. And both these movies go together for obvious reasons, you know. You got Robert Eggers and Ari Aster. I think those two directors have very similar output, but they're both just different enough. But both these movies are on the evil side of things, and they both have last acts that go completely bonkers. But visually, they're very different films, but I think after you watch both of them back to back, you'll see why they make a great double feature, actually. And you get great performances by Anya Taylor-Joy, really the whole cast of The Witch, and of course Toni Collette in Hereditary. And they both have really shocking and unsettling moments. Need I say more? Number 3, got to give you a good shark movie, Jaws and The Shallows. And I waited for years and years and years to finally have a good, like really good shark movie. Now I know that there's other contenders out there, but for me, I think ever since Jaws, The Shallows is probably the best. And I like The Shallows for the isolated environment. The whole movie is just Blake Lively stuck on this rock in the middle of the ocean. And, you know, this shark is just terrorizing her. And of course, there is kind of a section of Jaws that's like that, the last act, where you got, you know, Brody and the gang and Quint and Hooper, and they're just off in the ocean and they're being terrorized by Jaws. But I think pound for pound, both these movies are the best shark movies you can watch. Number 2, Strangers Pray at Night and The Town That Dreaded Sundown remake. And there's a reason I put the remake and not the original. Now, obviously, these are both sackhead killer movies, okay? And I think Town That Dreaded Sundown, the remake, feels much more like just a straightforward slasher than the original. The original felt more like kind of a documentary. And then I went with part 2 for Strangers Pray at Night because, again, that feels more like a slasher, whereas the first one feels more like just a home invasion type of movie. So I think both these movies go very well together, actually. And I love a good sackhead killer movie. And if you're still thirsty after both these movies, go ahead and throw in Friday Part 2. And then number 1, Halloween. And Halloween 2, I can't put it in here, even though Halloween 1 and 2 make the greatest double feature ever. I'll go ahead and say that. But it's my rule. It Follows. I think It Follows is the perfect companion to Halloween if you can't watch Halloween 2. Or if you're just tired of watching 1 and 2. If you want to just watch one in a different movie, I'd say watch It Follows, because It Follows is pretty much a love letter to Halloween. A lot of the camera shots in It Follows are very similar to Halloween. They both have like next level directing. I mean, John Carpenter, freaking greatest horror director ever. And what David Robert Mitchell was able to accomplish, and I'm sure he borrowed a little bit of that Carpenter playbook, but some of the camera shots in It Follows are pretty damn inventive, actually. Especially that like 360 shot, really cool stuff. But both the movies too are very creepy and really get under your skin. So that's it. That is my top 10 plus the honorable mentions, favorite horror double features. It was really fun putting this list together. So thank you, Christina Brown, for recommending this. This was a lot of fun. So anyway, guys, I know you guys got your own favorite double features. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any ideas, and let me know if you like some of these that I gave you. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays, we do Free For All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.